The results are in. Last week I introduced you to my $100 boutique challenge where I'll be taking this $100 and I'm going to start a boutique from scratch with your help. And then in the end, I'm giving it all away. So episode 1 was about me setting the rules for the $100 boutique challenge. And we started to brainstorm our concept and our name and things for the boutique. In episode 1, I gave you a bunch of options to choose from and also welcomed you to share your own options. I gave you options of type of customer we can sell to. I gave you options for the aesthetic of our brand, for the brand name, and for logo. Some of you voted, wasn't many votes, but it was enough for me to establish this branding and come up with the actual concept so we can move into our next step. So let's review those votes and see what our $100 boutique is going to be. So our first step was finding out who we're selling to. Some of the options that I gave was a young professional woman or a man, a traveler, someone who's always traveling and on vacation, or a trendy, edgy person who loves statement pieces, maybe even bright colors. And this person actually sets the trends. Or maybe just follows the trends, but they're always on top of the trends. They're always ahead of the game. Now, as far as our votes, you guys chose the trendy, edgy person that follows or sets the trends, and they're not afraid of statement pieces. Which I love that. So I'm happy you guys agreed with that. And then the next thing we needed to figure out was the brand aesthetic. So what would our brand look like? And some of the options that I gave was business casual for that young professional person, or it could be office siren. So office siren is a little more on the edge, but it's still office. Then we had like that black and white clean aesthetic. We had the option to do neutral colors. We had the option of doing bright, vibrant colors. So these color ones is just like a theme, but there's no true trend to it. We would just buy into this color scheme. Or we had the feminine and flirty option, and then we had the very luxury high-end option. So the one that won the most votes was feminine and flirty, which works well for the trendy, edgy person that follows or sets the trends. We can turn that person into feminine and flirty. So obviously our customer is going to be woman. And then now for the name, which I know you're probably waiting for because that's the part that most people care about. So what's the name that everyone voted for? Again, there weren't many votes, but it was enough for me to decide on what direction we're going to for this video. Now, the name based off of the thumbs up that got the most votes was Salt and Sun. So it seems to be that Salt and Sun is going to be our $100 boutique name. Now that actually works with everything else we selected so far because we have the trendy, edgy person that follows or sets the trends and they're not afraid of statement pieces. Then the aesthetic is going to be very feminine and flirty. And Salt and Sun is a name for the vacationer, the resort wear, the beachy vibe. So that works with the person we're selling to and the aesthetic. So you guys, your voting did work out well. And the last thing we needed to vote on was the type of logo that we were going to have for this brand. And then if there was going to be a slogan. I didn't put any slogans in there, but as far as the logo, I had you choose from either a symbol that we can create, so a true logo, or just a name logo with a signature font. Well, brand logo is tied. I have one for a symbol and one for a name logo. So either someone can break that tie in the comments on this video, or we'll just figure that part out later because it's not as important right now as it is for us to figure out who we're selling to and what our aesthetic is. But since we did the votes and we have the name, we have the aesthetic, we have our customer, I tried to come up with what this brand is actually going to look like. So I'll put it on the screen. But this was that look. It is very vacation-y, it's very feminine and flirty, very resort wear. Now in this mood board that I created is more geared towards swimwear, a lot of cutouts, lace, high slits. There's swimwear in there, of course. I do want to throw in more of the clothing aspect because this is very much daytime beachy vibe. I want more of nighttime clothing to add in here so we don't limit ourselves. Because think about it, when you're on vacation, you have your day looks and then you have your night dinner looks. maybe going out looks. So I want to add in more clothing. So I do need to update this mood board a little more, but I feel like this look is Salt and Sun. Now, of course, if you disagree with me, definitely put it in the comments what direction you saw more for Salt and Sun. This is my look of it, but we're in this together, so you let me know your look of it. But this is what I got for Salt and Sun. Oh, and then a trend that I've been seeing on TikTok, which I don't know if it's a true trend, but I've seen a couple people record videos on this, which was the sunset dinner outfit that people are creating. That's what I'm thinking of when I say like the evening looks. So they were still very vacation outfits, very resort wear, but it was something you can wear to dinner and you're not just going to the beach. You might be doing dinner by the beach, but it's not just swimwear. So that's what I want to add in here, but let me know your thoughts. So now we can go more into building our actual customer. We know she's trendy, she's edgy, she's not afraid of making a statement. She's probably center of attention. She's very feminine and she's flirty. But what's the age range? Because we just say women, but women can be someone in her early 20s, or women could be someone in her late 40s, early 50s. So what range do we want to gear this towards? Now, of course, the mood board I created looks like a young woman, maybe 25 to 45, but we can adjust that. What is her lifestyle? One of our aesthetics before was luxury high-end, but this could be a young college student that we're talking about as far as the woman. This could be someone that is more established and maybe has that median income, or this could be the stay-at-home wife living her soft life. She's living this luxury life where she has money to spend. Now again, we have to be careful with that luxury high-end clientele because we're doing this on a $100 budget. So we really don't have the products to buy for her, but that doesn't mean that our marketing and aesthetic is not geared towards that person. So we have to think about the age range, her lifestyle, her income. Obviously her travel habits, she's traveling, but is she traveling every month, or is this someone that is on a budget? So maybe she only vacations 1 to 2 times out of the year. I feel like if we're doing a collection that is geared towards travelers and vacation, this is someone that's traveling quite frequently because obviously we want her to keep coming back to buy more. And then her fashion preferences. Is she one, we obviously said she likes statement pieces, but is she not afraid to wear those cutouts? Or does she want to be a little more modest? Is she looking for timeless, classy statement pieces? Or is she looking for statement pieces that are on the edge and most people wouldn't dare to wear it? So now we have more things to think about and more things to vote on. You can put it in the comments, your thoughts on our client's profile. This is what we're creating right now. Her actual profile. Who is she? You can even give her a name if you would like. Now, I mentioned in episode 1, one of the things I have not done yet is actually research these names. I just ran off a list of names that came to mind, but I didn't actually research them to see if they're available. So let's go ahead and head over to my computer and we're going to research these names because this step is key when selecting your business name. Let's research this name and see if it's even available, because just because we voted for it doesn't mean that it belongs to us. So I'm on my computer right now, and one of the first things I always like to check to see if the domain is available. So I'm just going to go to domain.com for now, and the name is Salt and Sun. I'm going to spell out and. Oh my gosh. Do y'all see that? Salt and Sun is available, but it's available for $30,000. It's available for over $30,000. I love you guys, but not that much. And we are on a $100 budget. I don't think our $100 budget will cover a $30,000 domain. Here it is, here again. It's considered a premium domain, so of course we chose a premium name. So that is not going to work. There's Sun Zones, Little Salt and Sun, Salt and Sun. I mean, we can still go with the name. Doesn't mean that it's out. We at least know we picked a premium name, but we can still choose it. Let's do maybe like, I'm going to take the .com out for now. Do shop Salt and Sun. That one's taken. Salt and Sun Boutique. Trying to think of variations. saltandsunboutique.com is available. I don't know how much I like it, but it is available. What other combinations could I do? saltandsun.com, Salt and Sun Boutique, Salt and Sun Shop. I don't think I like that either, but it is available. So now we have some decisions to make. Do we want to continue with Salt and Sun and maybe choose a variation of the domain? So it can be Salt and Sun Boutique. Salt and Sun Collection is what I could do. Or Salt and Sun Clothing. But I don't want to necessarily stick us to clothing only if we end up doing more. Actually, Salt and Sun Clothing is gone. I don't know what I want to do here, but remember this is a partnership, so it's not just about me. What would you do? Do you want to do a variation of Salt and Sun? Should we look at other names? Oh, one of the other runner-up, because in the voting, I didn't show the additional comments where people put their feedback separately, but Oak and Ivory also technically had 2 votes if we count the other comments and not just the thumbs up. So let's see. Okay, we picked all the premium ones because Oak and Ivory is over $15,000, almost $16,000. Looking at the variations that they have here, putting boutique at the end seems to be the way to go. I mean, we can stick with Salt and Sun since we pretty much already figured out the whole brand here with the aesthetic, the customer, and now the brand name. It's just the domain. Actually, before I say we're sticking with it, let me check social media because those are also important. So let me search on, we'll search Instagram first for Salt and Sun. Let's see what comes up because we want to try to use the same domain for all of our accounts. So it's just like one handle. I see a bunch of variations of it, so I'm sure the original Salt and Sun is not available. Here it is right there. So, of course, someone took it and it's an account that they're doing nothing with. They just blocked it out, which is a thing. People buy out the premium domain names. They'll buy out the premium domain name handles on social media because then they want you to try to buy it from them. Because as you can see, they're only following one person. There's no post or anything. Or no, they have one follower, but there's no post or anything on here. So let me see Salt and Sun Boutique because that was going to be the domain name. No, Salt and Sun Boutique is taken on here as well. Again, no post, no followers following. The name is just taken. So that wouldn't work. Let me do Shop Salt and Sun. I can't remember if that domain was available or not, but let me... Oh, I spelled that wrong. Should put this on Do Not Disturb so that way all these notifications don't keep popping up. Okay, Shop Salt and Sun seems to be available on Instagram. Was that domain available too? I think that was taken. Yeah, that's taken. What other combos could we do, y'all? I'm kind of stuck now. I don't even care about Instagram anymore. Let me try TikTok. This hotel has 500. Okay, it's taken on here too as someone that has 2 followers or following 42. This is a person that knows Jesus, so I won't be mad at that. Okay, let me try Salt and Sun Boutique. I cannot spell. There's Salt Boutique, Salty Sun. Salt and Sun Boutique is taken by someone that's not even using the account. And then lastly, let's try Shop Salt and Sun. That's Salted Sun, Salt and Sand. Yeah, that seems to be a popular name. Even though Shop Salt and Sun, I don't see that as taken on here, but it's taken on Instagram. We might be coming up with a new name because it seems we picked something a little too premium that is just not working out. What was the other ones that was voted on? Let me see. I think Social Hour was the other one that's technically even if we count the additional comment. Yeah, let me try Social Hour. Social Hour is taken. Okay, Shop Social Hour is available. So it would be shopsocialhour.com, which technically is still the same vibe. Social Hour can still be like the Resortwear vacation, but then it also ties in clothing. So that way we're not just resort wear on those times that people may not be shopping resort wear as much, or maybe for climates that cannot sell resort wear because their winters are cold. So it does tie in other places. So this can still work. Let me just check social media. Let's See a bunch of variations on this too. Doesn't seem like the actual social hour handle is taken, but let's do it the same as our domain anyway. Social hour shop is taken, but not shop social hour. There's shop the social hour, so that may work. And then let me just check TikTok. The other platforms I'm not going to check. When we get into marketing, we can decide what platforms is truly best for us, but I'm just going to check TikTok and Instagram for now. Oh, of course it's taken on TikTok. Let's look at this brand. It's a small business. It's from 2020. They haven't posted since 2020, but I guess it's someone that was selling t-shirts. Okay, so it's available for the domain. It's available for Instagram. It is not available on TikTok. Now, do you see why so much effort is put into the name? There's a lot into this that we have to try to figure out. So now we can't use it on TikTok. I'll have to come up with something else. Thought about putting like Social Hour LA at the end, but if I'm giving this away, I don't know who I'm giving this to and what state you're going to be in. So I don't want to do that. I don't know. I'm going to leave this decision up to you. Should we stick with Salt and Sun, which was the original winner from the votes, and we come up with a combination for the domain and social media handle, or do we switch to Social Hour, which is almost available on all of them except for TikTok, so we still need to come up with a slight variation for Social Hour? Or do we go back to the drawing board on our branding? Now you get to see one of the problems of actually starting a business. What you may have in mind and what you plan and what you're excited about does not mean it's going to happen. As you can see, Salt and Sun really isn't available and is labeled as a premium name. And I promise I didn't do that on purpose. I literally did not search these names at all. This was just stuff that came to mind. But I don't have $30,000 to spend on a domain name. I should say we don't, because we only have $100. So we can't afford a $30,000 domain name. We can't afford a $16,000 domain name. We need a $1 domain. Even that $5, they're pushing it. I want a $1 domain. But at least $5 is more feasible than $30,000. So now we have yet another decision to make. We may be going back to the drawing board and completely picking a new name, or we can select the ones that we have that were voted on and find a variation of it. I'm going to let you help me decide that in the comments. What direction are we going in with this name now? Because we kind of have a dilemma here. Now, of course, time waits for none of us, so we do have to keep moving on. So we can keep the brand aesthetic, we can keep the client profile that we're developing. We just need to re-strategize on this name. So technically, my next step was going to be going into the label and maybe even a slogan, just trying to figure out what this label looked like, maybe even researching the font. But I don't want to jump into that just yet until we figure out our dilemma with the actual name. So I'm going to hold off on the logo. The logo is not as important right now as it is figuring out the actual brand name. So we'll wait on the logo. You guys still have the opportunity now to undo this tie. Let's figure out if we're doing an actual logo or if we're going to just stick with a cute font for the name. We also need to come up with our color palette. And I started a mood board, but of course adjustments need to be made, so you can recommend the adjustments for that mood board so that I can fix it. That we can deal with in a later episode. As you can see, right now we have Salt and Sun, and I even created a mood board for it, but Salt and Sun may not be our name. So we need to figure out what we're doing there. But I still want to move forward and start shopping for inventory. But one of the things I always recommend to entrepreneurs when they're starting a new business is to start marketing early. Now, normally I would start marketing early when I have the name and I can post behind the scene content and just start creating that urgency for what's to come. Since I don't have a name, I can't technically market anything because I don't know what I'm marketing. But next week we can always strategize a marketing plan. So let's prepare for that in episode 3. We'll start strategizing our marketing plan, even though we don't have a name yet. Hopefully by next week, we'll have a name. And if you didn't see yet, I'm doing a live shopping session strictly for live sourcing. I wanted to do it this Saturday, and since we kind of know our direction, I think I am going to go with Saturday, June 27th. So for those of you that already sent me your email so I can forward you the link for that session, I'll go ahead and send that out this week. So make sure you're checking your emails to join me on this Saturday, June 27th. And if you haven't sent your email yet and you would like to join, I'll put the link down in the description box where you can send your emails to me. So that way you can join the live session and we'll start shopping the inventory. We don't necessarily need to buy it right now. We can start getting an idea now that we have some direction. So we have some direction here, but we also have a dilemma. And we also still need to keep moving forward. So in episode 3, get ready to start planning for our marketing so we can start marketing before we launch the business, and also get ready to start sourcing our inventory.